30 days of immigration tips from America to Norway for those of you considering it after the most recent presidential election, day 14. This is basically what this whole series could have boiled down to, which is that no matter how much I tell you, you're not going to be ready for the fact that moving is the easiest part. And spoiler alert, moving is not easy. Picking up your entire life and moving it physically over to another country across an ocean is not easy. But you're gonna struggle for years. As you know, I came over here fluent in the language, having studied the culture down to what the most popular frozen pizza brand is in Norway for 25 years, okay? So I had it about as easy as you can have it. And let me tell you, you don't understand how much we take for granted as adults, the little daily cultural and protocol learnings that we've had a lifetime to build up. And you can't appreciate it until it's suddenly unfamiliar again. So little things like, I can remember being 10 and wondering how adults paid taxes. How do you ever learn that process? I can remember being 25 and wondering how anybody ever figured out how you get a mortgage, how you get approved for a mortgage, how do you go through the process of buying a house? How do deductibles work? How does insurance work? How do you make a doctor's appointment? I know people that are still making doctor's appointments for their husbands because their husbands never had to learn in their own native country. And all these things, you sort of, once you've gotten your life set up, and I would say once you're in your 30s, for the most part, you've figured the majority of these things out by just doing it. And all of that goes out the window in a different country. There are so many little things. We're looking into buying a house right now. So that's what I'm focusing on lately. But tiny little things like after the housing market crash in 2008 in America, we have fixed interest mortgages. So I've never dealt with a system where there are variable rate mortgages. That means that the approval process, because Norway tries to protect its consumers, is so much more conservative. You have to have a lot more in terms of a down payment. They count how many kids you have. If you own a car, even if you own it outright, that counts against you as like a resource you might have to use money on. They have such higher requirements. And that, just going into that process, knowing nothing, makes you feel like a child again. And if you're an adult that has been living on your own for a while, just that feeling is gonna make you so frustrated sometimes. And I think that's a big reason people end up as expats. They come over and they complain as immigrants. And listen, you need an immigrant community of people that came from your culture and came to this new culture. You need that. You have to be able to let off steam sometimes. But you also need the people who understand what you expected a mortgage verification process to be and what it is here. Because the really difficult thing that I learned early on is that there are some things that are so different that you're taking for granted that mortgages always work this way in America. Norwegians have only ever experienced it their way. So even the most helpful, polite, kind, giving Norwegians won't always know actually what's different for you. And that lack of being able to get help and having to kind of figure it out on your own, first of all, I'm going to repeat this, you need an immigrant community because they're the only people that can tell you how it works based on your expectations. But second of all, that process is the hardest thing, and it goes on and on and on. Think about how long it took you to develop the knowledge base you had by the time you were 20. Think about how long it took you to develop the knowledge you had in your 30s. Every little thing, who do you take your car to when it needs new tires? When do you need new tires? That's different in a winter climate, for instance. The other day we got a ticket because we have studded tires and we didn't remember or we didn't know that you have to pay a fee to have the studded tires throughout the winter. And like, those things are so frustrating when everything is new. And that process will go on for years because I came into this with about as much knowledge as you could hope to have. And it's still happening to us. Like that process, leaving is not really going to fix that much. Like if your human rights are about to be violated, that's a good reason to go. For us, the school shootings were a big enough reason. But It is so hard, and you will feel like a child for so long, and that is harder than any TikTok video can really prepare you for.